Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to The Art of Power with Ashley DePrizio. Ashley is an intuitive guide and certified sexuality coach specializing in lasting transformation, dissolving inner conflicts and subconscious reprogramming through the lens of our sexuality and pleasure. And today, we'll be diving deep into the 3 hacks to live more authentically. Thank you so much for joining us, Ashley. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with giving you the 3 hacks, and then I'm going to talk backwards into the details about each of them. So a lot of us, yes, we want more authentic life. So how do we do that? 1 is about being honest with yourself. I would say hands down, this is the biggest area where we all could use a little bit of practice, I'll just say. The second one is to actually design your dream day and your dream life and really know what that would look like. And then the third one is evolve and clarify what your dream life really is. So why am I talking about this today? Why are we even, thinking about this as a topic? Well, for me, I actually have been going through a lot of stuff in my life right now, and there's a lot happening in this world. So my view is that life's a little confusing. I think a lot of us are a little unsure about where do we go? What do we do? We're getting so much information. And so in order for us to stay grounded in our paths, grounded in who we are, it's important to know those 3 things. So if we aren't, then life can misinform us. If we don't know who we are, if we don't know what we stand for, if we don't know what we want, then the terms that people throw around, like live your dreams, live life on purpose, be successful, like those terms can be very vague. And like I said, they're thrown around so much these days. And at times it can feel nearly impossible to actually do that if we don't know what those dreams are, who we are, and what we really want. So what does that actually mean? Well, what it really means is to live a life that you actually desire with authenticity, with fulfillment, with joy, and with pleasure. There's a quote, I've heard this many times, as I'm sure you have as well, that people who are interviewed at the time of their death, the one thing that they always say is, I wish I had had the courage to live a life truer to myself, not the life that others have expected of me. And so every time I read this, every time I hear it, time and again, it has me thinking, like, where am I in that? And how am I actually measuring or quantifying living my life this way? Living the life that I desire, that, is successful for me. So I think one of the ways that I've started to look at it is it's not so much about how much time we spend doing a whole bunch of things. It's about the time spent doing things that we love. And it's about measuring how little time we spend doing things that we hate. So truly, I think it's fundamentally just about being true to ourselves. And me personally, like, this has been a journey that I've been on for quite some time, peeling back layers of how I should be living life. And I know that I'm not the only one. So diving into each of these, diving into the hacks that I have about living the life of your own dreams is, first, it's about being radically honest with yourself. And so in order to do that, I think we have to be able to answer a couple questions. First is, what do I actually want? Like, what do I really want? And how often do we even ask ourselves that? I mean, we do, it's like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that. Work sucks here, this relationship, my partner's not being XYZ, this friend. And we often focus on what we don't want, but what is it that you really want? And what is it that you really believe in? What does your living life on your terms, a life of your dreams, actually feel like to you? What does it look like to you? Regardless of what other people think, regardless of the should do's that are thrown to us basically from society and our parents and whatnot, but like, what is the life that you truly want to be living for you? And be honest with yourself. Really be honest. I think as I've gone through this whole self-development journey, one of the things I noticed is that we're really dishonest with ourselves. And we lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves that life is better than it is, or that, our career is good enough. But the reality is, I think that we are lying to ourselves. So check in with that. Take a look at that. How many times have you been lying to yourself? And more importantly, why? Like, honesty, real radical honesty is vulnerable and it's emotional. And I think the reason why many of us aren't honest with ourselves is because we fear failure. We fear rejection or shame and guilt. So to begin this journey, hack number one is to get real with yourself. What do you love? What do you want? What do you really, 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 really want out of life? What is your soul calling you for? What are the little nudges that you are getting? Start to listen, okay? So the second one, design your dream life. Create a day of your dreams. Write it down. Even create a prompt for yourself to take a look at in your journal or read it daily. Like, I know I'm living my dream life when, and create a list of 10 criteria. Maybe it's, I know I'm living my dream life when I can wake up anywhere in the world. Or when I wake up, I, look at what brings me the most joy and pleasure. Or I get to spend time outdoors, walking, hiking, the beach, just sitting with family or friends. Like, whatever it is, take a chance and write it down. Because the thing is, we're not going to be here forever. And the only thing that is certain for every single one of us humans is death. So you get to decide right now, if today were my last day on earth, in this form, in this body, what would I like to be doing? Am I living the life that I want? And if it's a hell yes, like, awesome, amazing, I celebrate you. And if it's not, what choices can you make to get closer to the hell yes, this is the life that I want to live if today were my last day on earth? And finally, number 3, clarify and evolve your dreams. As you begin to align with your dream life, with what feels great, and evolve into it, your dreams, your commitment, and your desires, they might change. So check in with yourself, right? Many people, myself included, have achieved goals and began living things that were a dream one day, only to realize and wake up, wait, this is no longer a dream of mine. Or I have this dream, so what else? How else can I expand that? Okay, so are you spending time doing what you want to do? Are you engaging with the people that you want to connect with? Are you living and working and eating and do all the things that light you up? And if you aren't sure what lights you up, I'll give you 3 places to look, because we know we're in alignment when everything below the neck is lighting up, or at least one of them is. So listen to these 3. I call it, instead of your GPS, actually call it your GPH. It's your gut, it's your heart, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this P word on here, so I'm not going to say it, but it's in your genital area. If you listen to those, you will live in more alignment. You will be living your dream life. So to just sum this up before Jessica and I start a little Q&A and exchange together, when we actually decide to leave the gravitational pull of mediocrity and we begin to live the life of our dreams and design that, we start to live with more authenticity, more vulnerability, and inner peace. And with that comes more possibility, more opportunities, more choices become available to us. So start by telling yourself and tell the people around you what you want. Keep the people who support you, release the ones that are trying to keep you where you are. Design your dream day, notice how much you're living it and where you can expand it, and check in with yourself. Allow the evolution and the shifts of your desires to change, or to expand, or to drop off for what truly lights you up, turns you on, and makes you feel empowered. Listen to your inner guides and listen to your inner GPH. Okay? That's what I have for today, Jessica.
Amazing. Thank you, Ashley. And so powerful and so true. And one of the things that I think about, so one of the things that helped me, and I don't know what you think about this, is naming her. So, right, when I talk about positive Jessica and people like think, oh, positive Jessica is just like something positive that I created. It's like my brand. It's not. It's a persona I created. And remembering positive Jessica has these qualities and this is who my true self is, and just reminding myself of who I am. Positive Jessica. I also have Alessandra. I have Business Diva, and all those, like, I call in at the times that I need. And then I have some other ones that I will not share here. But it's true. What do you think about that? Is that a hack? Is that a way to bring out that authenticity?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. they're all aspects of you. Like positive Jessica is not the entirety of you. Like the entirety of you is pure love, right? But all of these are aspects of you. So if we can begin to recognize that, oh, there is a part of me that loves this positivity and everything that aligns with positive Jessica, then we can also own the aspects of ourselves that maybe we don't love as much, right? And then we can say, well, this is just a piece of me. Like when I'm down, and the next thing that I'm going to want to talk about actually on our next episode is going to be about shame and self-acceptance. And so there's parts of ourselves that we might not love as much, right? But the reality is they are aspects of us. So if we can create the persona and acknowledge that it's not fully, truly who we are, then yes. And the persona thing is something that I use with my clients that I do the sexuality coaching with. And we actually create personas for dreams and desires in the bedroom, right? So that we don't have to hide ourselves or feel scared or nervous or shame or whatever, but like we can step into it as if it's a character that we're playing. And it's kind of like that fake it till you make it, or own it, or practicing until you really can embody it. So yeah, it's a beautiful hack. It's a beautiful hack.
And what would you say is your hack for when you're very aligned, and it's pretty easy when, you know, you're home or we're like in an environment that's prone to that, and then something happens, someone says something, and all of a sudden we like don't become authentic. It's like, yeah, that's fine. And inside we're like, what? Or we're like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I've got more than enough time. And inside we're like, what? I don't have time. Or, you know what I mean? It's like showing up, and it's especially in the feminine energy in relationship. That's one thing I've noticed. You know, I'm a recovering people pleaser, and some people say that too. And I made the mistake in past relationships to bend myself into a pretzel, where it really no longer was me because I wanted to please. So what is your advice when it comes to that? Because ultimately I am a loving person, right? People who do that is because they're loving and they care ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you recommend we stick to our authenticity in those moments?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a couple different ways that I would say we could go with that. One of them is just understanding, what are your boundaries? What are your boundaries for the energy that you put out? What are your boundaries for supporting people and supporting yourself? That's a big one. And it's often one that people don't talk about or think about in relationships. So it's creating boundaries, and it's also creating, you know, in relationships, it's about consent containers. And we can talk about that at another time. But as far as that goes, I would say have the boundaries, but then second, check in with yourself. Like, is this choice to say yes actually something that fills me up? Does my inner like gut, heart, and like lady area really get excited? Like, yes, I want to do this. Or is it the brain that's making the decision that like, I have to do this so that this person will like me, love me, accept me, or some other thing? So it's almost like having just a quick gut check. Take the gut check. Like, is this going to fill me up? Or is there another reason why I'm doing this?
And sometimes I would say it's also okay to say, you know what, let me check in. Let me get back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the boundary, to give yourself permission to take a moment to reflect. So it's again, permission as well. Permission to just check in with yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ashley. As always, come on over every single week. Ashley has these incredible hacks and tools really where we can come in and heal and reconnect to our feminine energy. That's what the art of power really is all about, reconnecting to our feminine energy so we can experience this authentic joy, fulfillment, and pleasure in our life. She is the voice behind the art of power and advocates for the expansion of personal power. Thank you so much, Ashley. I look forward to our next call. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.